It's of course one of two arts internship events now that we have two very large programs underway. And I think you're going to be excited by what you're going to hear, not necessarily from me, but certainly from the students who participated in internships this summer. In fact, I'm just looking at the notes for the speaker who follows me, and they thank me for my inspiring words. And I really got a blooper. Anyway, the Arts Internship Program began in 2004, and I suppose my inspiring words are to tell you a little bit about how this program has grown in the 11 years that we've been running it. In 2004, the first year of the program, 59 students participated in the program. 9 of them received awards for a total of $20,000. Fast forward to 2014, this past year, we went from 59 participants to 273 participants. We went from 9 award recipients to 126 award recipients. So back in 2004, 15% of the participants got awards. We've been able to triple that to 46%. And we're going to keep on pushing that number forward. And our ability to do that is in large part due to the wonderful people who support the program through their philanthropy. Many of them are here, and I've learned over my years as dean that unless you're confident you can name everyone, don't name anyone, because for sure you're going to forget someone. So many of our donors are here. I want to thank them. It's their tremendous dedication, their financial support that makes this program possible. The total amount we gave out this year in awards was $230,000. So from $20,000 in 2004 to $230,000 this year. The other element of our program, the Arts Research Internship Awards program, which you can hear about in the spring, began in 2010. So it's a more recent program. In 2010, we had 27 Arts Research Internship Award winners, receiving a total of $108,000. 2014, we'll have 48, almost double, receiving $192,000. That's a tremendous program in the sense that it's a partnership between our faculty, who provide half the money through their research grants, and our donors, who provide the other half of the money through their generous philanthropic support. So the two programs together this year will contribute almost $425,000, in addition to the, most importantly, the wonderful experiences that the students get both in their internships abroad and here, as well as their research experiences during the summer working closely with professors. Of course, a program like this could not function well if it weren't for a wonderful group of people who run it. So I want to just take a moment and ask you to join me in thanking Ann Turner and her team at the Arts Internship Office. And that's all I will bore you with now, so I'll turn the floor over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Masretti, for those very inspiring words. Hello, everyone. I'm Antoine Olavo, and I'm the Internship Coordinator at the Arts Internship Office. We're here today to celebrate the achievements of the Arts Summer 2014 interns. On behalf of Ann Turner and I'd love to welcome and thank you all for attending our 11th annual event. We believe the best way to learn about internships is to hear from past interns. This past summer, students interned in Canada and around the globe, from Chennai to Cape Town, from Paris to Panama City, and today, returning students share their internship experiences with the McGill community. We will hear from 10 interns from across all disciplines in the Faculty of Arts, who will share their highlights and challenges of their internships, as well as offer practical advice to all of you. As you can see, I was once getting ready to speak and break the ice in this very room 8 years ago, and so I know how our first presenter must feel. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Shurabi Srikaruna.
Thank you, Antoine. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shurabi Srikaruna, and I'm a U2 economics student. This summer, I spent 3 months in the south of India interning for an NGO called Association for India's Development. This NGO works to promote just, sustainable, and equitable development by initiating efforts all over India in various spheres like education, women empowerment, health, and agriculture. As a McGill intern, you have 2 opportunities. You could either work in agriculture or in education. I chose to work for their agriculture chapter called Magasul. My co-intern and I were in charge of a research pilot dealing with the socio-economic impact of monopolized government distribution of alcohol on low-income households. What this entailed was background research on the policies and regulations in place for alcohol distribution, as well as creating a questionnaire that would address the problems of domestic abuse, health impacts, income expenditure, and productivity loss due to alcohol consumption. This questionnaire was then used to survey 300 men and 300 women across 5 villages and 1 urban slum. All 600 surveys were carried out by my co-intern and I. The results of the survey were extremely successful and confirmed many of our previous predictions. We consolidated these results into a 50-page report. This report is expected to influence the state government to decrease the availability of alcohol. Finding this internship had a few steps. I attended the AIO's information sessions. I actually attended this one last year. And then I went and looked through the database of internships. I chose the ones that stood out to me and spoke to my skills. After which, I read the experiences of previous interns for the ones that interested me. While reading about their experiences, I chose to focus on what their duties were and what they struggled with. So, in the case of the previous interns, what they felt was a struggle was a language barrier. They felt as though they carried out less surveys and the clarity of information they received through the translator was impacted. The reason this stood out to me is because I'm fluent in the local language, and I felt as though if I was to intern for this NGO, this problem would be solved. So, I encourage everyone here not to look for an opportunity that will only benefit you in your future endeavors, but look for one that you have an asset for. Because at the end of this experience, how much you will get out of this internship truly comes down to what you put in. Consider your skills and consider what the organization needs and then apply for it. The AIO is extremely helpful and will assist you in finding the right internship. I'm extremely thankful to have had the AIO as they helped me find a great internship, but they also worked as a support system back in Canada while I was interning abroad. I also encourage everyone here to apply for an award if you are to receive an internship, as the partial funding goes a long way. I'm extremely grateful for the Liz Gomeri and Stephen Pugh's internship, as it was pivotal in making this experience possible for me, and I would sincerely like to thank the donors. Now, I would like to introduce Martin to speak about his experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Martin. I am a U3 political science and history major. This summer I actually didn't travel. I stayed in Montreal and I interned at the US consulate here. But it almost felt as if I was in another country because there were pictures of Barack Obama everywhere. The internship was great. I was part of the political and economic section. So their duties to monitor political and economic developments in the province, and to inform the State Department in Washington as well as the embassy in Ottawa. And I was truly lucky to be part of a really small team. So they gave me duties for which I had absolutely no training. And so I learned a lot. I had to write the consul speech every time he went in formal events. I had to do economic research. I had to learn how to use Excel, and I even got to spend a day with the US ambassador to Canada. There's a new ambassador now. His name is Bruce Heyman. Follow him on Twitter. He's a great guy. Having said that, if there's really one thing I can convey to you if you're looking for an internship, seek something where you know you will not necessarily be part of a small team, but where you know it will give you responsibilities. This is how you learn. This is how I can say my internship was truly formative. And I mean, for instance, on my first day, my boss was like, well, in a week we have a meeting with Warner Brothers in Montreal. They really hate property rights laws here, and they want us to advocate for them as the State Department. So you have to write the briefing manual for the consul myself. And so in 10 days, I had to research property right laws in Canada, fiscal incentives in the city of Montreal, and it was really, truly formative. So again, try to find these internships. They're really good. And if you want an internship with the State Department, here in Canada, they offer them in Calgary, Toronto, and Montreal. They usually hire local kids because you have to explain to the American diplomats, for instance, well, why do they speak French in Quebec? And stuff like that. Apply early. The deadline is early January. Go on the embassy's website, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. In closing, my internship was unpaid, so I was able to substantiate it through the Arts Improvement Fund Internship Award. And so for that, I would like to thank the Faculty of Arts, the donors, as well as the internship office, who was great support all along the way. Thank you very much, and I will now introduce Daisy.
Hello, my name is Daisy Demonjoie, and I am a U3 art history student. I just spent the summer interning at the Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum in New York. It is part of the Guggenheim Foundation, an international foundation dedicated to promoting the understanding and appreciation of art in its various museums across the world. There's one in New York, Bilbao, Venice, and Abu Dhabi, which is currently under construction. Known for its groundbreaking architecture, it is a cultural center and educational institution. Not only does it exhibit modern and contemporary art, it also offers lectures by artists, critics, and curators, education programs for all ages, and research initiatives and publications. I was placed in the Publishing and Digital Media Department, where I worked alongside editors in creating exhibition catalogs for upcoming exhibitions, as well as other printed and online material relating to the museum. My duties consisted mainly of proofreading, editing, and formatting, preparing layouts for meetings with designers, attending weekly departmental meetings, and transcribing videos. I also got to volunteer in certain Guggenheim events like Art After Dark, which was really fun as well. As an art history major, this internship was an important and necessary experience in order to discover the career possibilities in the cultural domain. I hope to one day work for an art magazine, but I thought it would be a good idea to work in a museum first, as it's the most central institution in the art world, and I wanted to get a good idea of how it functions and how it relates to other aspects of a city's artistic scene, so as to better prepare my skill set for a career in art journalism and publishing. Working at the Guggenheim definitely provided me with everything I was hoping for. They organized museum culture seminars through the internship program, where fellow interns and I, we were about 30 interns, so it was not quite as small as Martin. But we were taken every Friday to a company relating to the artistic scene of New York City, and we got to meet with the staff, learn about their academic and career paths, and see the various job opportunities outside of the museum. So it was a great learning experience, and it showed me the different facets of the art world, not only the commercial aspect with auction houses and galleries, but the non-profit side as well, which focuses more on education, culture, and innovation. And finally, in addition to this, our IAD badges also gave us free access to all the museums in New York, which is an incredible advantage because most of them have a $20 admission fee. So. I would like to thank the Arts Internship Office for they gave me a lot of help when I first started searching for internships, especially with my cover letter. The standard cover letter in Europe has a different format than in North America, of course. So that was really helpful, and the museums in particular can be even more specific. It was great to have people with knowledge of the art world's requirements to help me. I was unbelievably lucky to get this internship, but after looking through McGill's online database, I decided to focus my search on New York museums. So I just went online and looked at their websites, most of which actually have an internship page, and I filled out my application like everyone else. It's a long process, and I had to send my application by January as well, and I got the response in mid-April, so it does take a while, but overall it was definitely worth it. I would also like to thank the Max Stern Estate for their generous donation through the Max Stern Art History Internship Award, without which I would not have been able to live in such a central and exciting location in New York City. Before moving there for the summer, I was warned about how expensive New York can be. And I think my student instincts definitely helped me in most spending aspects, but the cost of living is undeniably high, especially compared to Montreal. So my award was a huge help and paid for part of my rent over the summer. And I got to stay in NYU dorms and live in Greenwich Village, which is pretty much as good as it gets. So finally, I will be receiving academic credit for this internship under the supervision of Sylvie Boisjoli in the Art History and Communication Studies Department. And now I would like to present our next speaker, Nicholas.
Thank you, Daisy. So good evening, everyone. My name is Nicholas Glademans. I'm a U3 Joint Honors Economics and Accounting student, and I had the privilege of interning with the Canadian Chamber of Commerce over the summer. So I secured this internship through the AIO, and it was a life-changing experience for two reasons. First, I had the opportunity to apply the things that I learned at McGill in a real-life business setting. Secondly, I had the opportunity to broaden my horizons as an international citizen, as well as enhance my cross-communication skills, my cross-cultural communication skills. So, what is CanCham? CanCham is the Canadian Chamber of Commerce in Hong Kong, and it has over 2,000 members. So it's a prominent non-government organization in the Hong Kong business community, and it's also the largest Canadian business association outside of Canada. So the mission of CanCham is to foster commerce between businessmen and businesswomen in Canada, in Hong Kong, and in China. So we provide a variety of services for our members. One of the services that we provide is advocacy work. One of the other things that we provide is events. So over the course of the summer, we had a variety of events. Some events were social, so we had a Canada Day celebration. We also had monthly happy hour cocktails. We also had that's a picture of the Royal Gala. We also had some more serious events, so we had a bunch of speaker series where we hosted distinguished speakers from a variety of different sectors. So financial services, technology, China business, just to name a few. So at CanCham, I worked as a management trainee, and more specifically, I worked in the membership department. So I had two goals. So one of the goals was to go to every event, and I achieved that goal. And at every event, I made sure to speak with non-members and try and convince them to join. And my second goal was to help in getting our existing members to renew. And that involved cold calling and emailing our existing members, making sure they were happy with the services we were providing for them. Also near the year end, I was able to do a membership analysis, which was really interesting. So if you want to ask me more about that, come see me after the event. So just some advice for people thinking about doing the internship. Definitely apply for internship awards. It really is helpful in defraying the cost. So I was very fortunate to receive the Anna Yang and Joseph Scholl Arts International Internship Award. My second piece of advice is try and get course credit if you're eligible. Unfortunately, I wasn't eligible because I was already over my course credit limits, but I would recommend it if you can. And last, but definitely not least, the most important piece of advice I can give you is to reach out to the McGill alumni chapter in whichever city or country you're going to. I met a lot of amazing alumni, a lot of amazing McGill alumni in Hong Kong, and that was definitely one of the best experiences I got out of the internship. So to conclude, I would like to thank the Faculty of Arts and the AIO for all their hard work. I'd also like to thank all the donors for their generosity, especially Joseph Scholl and Miss Anne Yang for their help for me. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Nabila.
Thank you, Nicholas. Hi everyone, my name is Nabila Walji. I am currently in my final year of my undergraduate degree, completing a double major in anthropology and international development studies. I spent my summer working at an NGO called LVCT Health, which was formerly called Liverpool VCT, and it's in Nairobi, Kenya. The organization works in many areas of HIV/AIDS work, including research, policy, and programming, to help make access to HIV testing, counseling, and treatment universal. My goal coming into the internship was to expand on some of my previous experiences working in East Africa, to learn about the HIV/AIDS context in Kenya, and to gain some grassroots field experience. And I was able to fulfill all of these goals with the support and encouragement from my supervisor and wonderful coworkers. I was placed in LVCT Health's youth department, where I created many documents, including posters for schools, which address questions like HIV/AIDS and unplanned pregnancy, a report to help improve the youth department's website, a brochure on the youth department, and a report identifying programming gaps. I also enjoyed the company of the monkeys that would come by the office and eat the fruit from the trees. Oh, yay, it's under. A highlight from my experiences was working at some of LBCT Health's field sites. Firstly, their youth hotline office, which offers information on sexual and reproductive health care questions to callers from across the country. And secondly, in a program called One Child at a Time, which was based in Gorogocho, a slum near Nairobi. I was also privileged to participate in policy meetings alongside government officials, academics, and other private and public representatives. Now on to the question a lot of you must be wondering. How did I feel going into an internship when Kenya was making the headlines? Because of safety issues, as you all know. And my honest response was that I was feeling very queasy. The reality on the ground, however, is rarely as it is reported in the news, and I didn't get affected by the security issues. My suggestion, if you are considering going to a place like Kenya, if they're dealing with security issues, is to get in contact with people who are already there before you get there, and they can help you figure out how to navigate the waterways safely. This semester, I will be completing a research paper from my experience in the internship. My supervisor will be Professor Sandra T. Hyde from the Anthropology Department. I am very grateful for having had this opportunity, which has been invaluable. I thank my supervisor and colleagues at LBCT Health for their support and encouragement, the Arts Internship Office for being supportive, not only in completing logistical aspects of the internship, but also to calm any worries I had. I received the McDonald Curry Fund for International Management and Development Internship Award, and I am very grateful to Mr. George Curry for supporting me with funding the internship. This experience was absolutely amazing, and I encourage all of you to consider undertaking an internship. I look forward to speaking to you after the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Nabila. So after hearing from these interns, you must be wondering, how do I get an internship? Where can I apply? How do I get started? Well, the Arts Internship Office's mission is to help students find the right internship, accompany them through the application process, get them ready to start, and help support them throughout the duration of the internship experience. If you want advice in navigating through internship opportunities, applying to awards, and securing the internship that will help you make the most out of your degree, then don't hesitate to visit us at Leacock 307 or book an appointment with us online. You'll find out a lot about various internship opportunities and have the opportunity to speak directly to former interns at the fair following the event. This summer, 48 students were recipients of the Faculty of Arts Undergraduate Research Awards, or also known as ARIA. The purpose of ARIA is to support undergraduate students who undertake research during the summer under the direct supervision of a faculty member. Students contribute to the professor's research agenda while gaining useful academic research skills. So in order to speak about ARIA, please welcome Carolyn Borum.
Thank you, Antoine. My presentation is probably going to be a little differently paced than what you've heard so far. So my name is Caroline. I'm completing my final year in the English Honours Program, and I was fortunate enough to receive the ARIA Award this year. This summer, I had the opportunity to be a research assistant for my honours supervisor, Professor Tabitha Sparks, with whom I'm now taking English 498 or Internship English. So this class is allowing me to distill the research I did over the summer into an independent research project I can get credit for. The work we did over the summer was largely geared towards preparing a proposal to send off to a publisher. So Professor Sparks is proposing a critical edition of Margaret Harkness's 1887 novel, A City Girl, to be printed for the first time in a scholarly edition geared towards a university curriculum. Such a project will allow for a hitherto neglected novel to enter the critical conversation once again, particularly weighing in on ongoing feminist revisions of the British canon, new considerations of the importance of popular literature and Victorian and turn-of-the-century literature and cultural studies. My principal reason for applying to the ARIA internship was to get a better understanding of what an 8-hour day in the library felt like, and to see if I could commit myself to a profession that would require me, for the most part, to be seated, reading and writing. I want to get a practical idea of what the work lives of grad students, researchers, and ultimately academics were like on a day-to-day basis, and how this experience informed my own decisions for after graduation. The traditional goal was evidently to sharpen my researching skills, especially in what concerned mining contemporary materials from 19th century periodical material. This objective met well with my role within the framework of the project because I was in charge of collecting a lot of textual analogs, contemporary reviews, the author's journalism, etc. I got to use new media like microfilm. I had almost weekly sessions with the literature liaison librarian, Lonnie Weatherby, in which we conducted trial and error searches across multiple databases and worked with her books to retrieve documents from the printed materials firsthand. Yeah, this is difficult. I was also curious to know how professors went about preparing a novel for this type of proposal. Working on a critical edition taught me to read the text in a more paranoid way, by taking care to notice textual cues that I have otherwise either missed on first reading, taken for granted, or judged unimportant. In choosing to consider the needs of the edition's target audience, I not only got to read around the topic and this decade more widely, but also became a more careful reader. I would like to thank Mr. Robert Steinberg, the Arts Internship Office, and the Faculty of Arts for supporting this internship. I'm especially grateful to the English Department for funding part of the award and allowing me to have this opportunity. Thank you for your time, and I'll give the floor to Shannon.
Good afternoon. My name is Shannon Gavrilchuk, and I'm in my final year of my undergraduate degree at McGill, majoring in International Development Studies with a minor in Education and International Relations. My interest in international development, education, and public health guided me towards the Kibale Mobile Clinic Health and Conservation Project in the Kibale National Park in Uganda. My fellow McGill intern, Mathilde Burton, and my duties for this internship was to interact with local villagers and gain a better understanding of the prevalent health issues and needs of rural communities in developing countries. From these interactions, Mathilde and I were able to create health education materials for both the Chenyawara Clinic located within the National Park and the Kibale Mobile Clinic to better inform communities about basic health care. These health education materials will then be presented in 8 villages located within the National Park, while the local nurse, Lucy, will administer basic health care and vaccinations to those in need. We also worked alongside Ugandan wildlife ranger and master's student Dorothy Karima in collecting and inputting data from surveys given to 40 households in 8 villages. This data will go towards the second part of the Grand Challenges Canada's grant application to provide all national parks in Uganda with a mobile clinic. My learning objectives going into this internship was to broaden my understanding of community development, social interactions, and issues that developing societies face on a daily basis. The Kibale Mobile Clinic project was started by Dr. Colin Chapman with a mission to provide basic healthcare and education to local communities. It also worked alongside the Ugandan Wildlife Authority in helping to build a positive relationship with neighboring communities to improve public and environmental health. Mathilde and I focused on interacting with local villagers to better understand their livelihoods and health practices. We developed health education modules and posters translated into the local languages, touching on an assortment of topics such as sanitation, nutrition, maternal health, and malaria. We also became involved in a variety of smaller projects, such as learning how to build tippy taps, a simple hand washing station to put in villages, hanging mosquito nets, teaching about germs transmission in a local primary school, and making fuel bricks out of compost for people to be able to cook and boil water. This fall, I am taking the internship course offered by the Institute of Study for International Development under the supervision of Dr. Colin Chapman, a professor in the Department of Anthropology and McGill School of Environment. My research will be centered on the evaluation of health knowledge and conservation of rural Ugandan communities. I would like to take this time to thank the Arts Internship Office and the Faculty of Arts for supporting my internship project. This experience has really been a stepping stone towards furthering my education and future work within global development and public health. For this internship, I was fortunate enough to receive the Carol and Lloyd Darlington Arts Internship Award for improving the social welfare of underprivileged individuals living in a developing country. This award generously provided me with financial aid to cover my transportation and insurance costs for my trip. I would like to sincerely thank Carol and Lloyd Darlington for their support and generosity, allowing me to obtain practical knowledge in my field of study. I am grateful to have received this opportunity and highly encourage others to apply for internships. I would like to introduce the next speaker, Alexander.
Thanks a lot. My name is Alex Speed, and I'm a U3 poli-sci student here at McGill. During the summer of 2014, I worked as a social media intern at the Montreal-based NGO Academics Without Borders. AWB seeks to improve the learning environments of universities around the world, or the developing world, by sending over North American academics to both teach at these institutions and provide guidance in their development projects. The projects have taken place in a number of developing countries such as Benin, Ghana, and Sudan. The reason I chose to apply for the internship was quite simple, as it was a cross between my two passions, social media and political advocacy. The opportunity with AWB allowed me to execute my skills in social media strategy development at a level I've never been before, being in full control of all social media related activity for an NGO. The leeway I was offered in the execution of the strategy allowed me to share different styles of content and gauge consumer reaction firsthand. This provided valuable feedback for my overall skills in social media strategy development, which I plan to use in my future relations with NGOs. As well, being in close contact with people who worked at NGOs gave me a better sense of their priorities, sensitivities, and other things that must be taken into account when putting together a social media strategy for an NGO or a not-for-profit. My duties as social media intern were to expand AWB's online presence through the development of a rigid and tangible social media strategy, which was to be implemented both during and after my tenure there. Within the framework of this strategy, I was to find viral content that was to be shared from the organization's social media outlets, engage potential donors online, and direct traffic towards our website where people can learn more about the organization and either hopefully donate or volunteer. My advice to all prospective interns is to not be afraid to apply to internships that correspond with your skills and interests. Doing something that you love makes the experience so much more enjoyable. No matter how comfortable you are with something, jumping into a new learning environment challenges you to push yourself even further. It's through these experiences that you learn more about your work and life goals. The AIO was an incredible resource both during and after my internship. It was through their network that I discovered the internship was available, and after meeting with them to give them a better sense of my interests and ambitions, they were more than happy to provide me with a better sense of which organizations would be best suited for me. They even let me know that my internship could be transferred into credits through the course Poly 599 Internship, which I will be taking under the supervision of Dr. Kahunta. I intend to further explore the various inefficiencies committed in social media strategy campaigns launched by NGOs, political movements, and other social advocacy organizations, and recommend effective strategies as remedies to these inefficiencies. I would fully suggest meeting with Antoine and the staff and maximizing the resources they offer. The Arts Internship Award I received from the Cook-Altman family helped cover all the costs associated with my internship. To effectively run AWB's social media outlets, I signed up for numerous online databases and widgets that allowed me to stay current with online content, disseminate AWB's content with greater ease, and expand AWB's reach. In giving me the opportunity to properly develop my skills as a social media strategist, they allowed me to gain a clearer sense of where I stand in my career path, and it made my ambitions to advocate on behalf of those who do not have the means to do so themselves a reality. Thank you, and I would like now to introduce Claire.
Thank you, Alex. Hello everyone, my name is Claire Mule. I'm in my last semester at McGill studying environment and development. So this past summer I spent 3 months in an environmental nonprofit organization in New York called the Human Impacts Institute. And their mission is to foster positive or sustainable human impacts on ecosystems through community engagement. So that sounds like a lot, but what they were doing was try to get people in New York City to know more about what they could do for sustainability. So they did this at different levels. More professionally, they had environmental accounting, and reaching out to people like us, they also had volunteer events. So what I was working on involved event planning, social media, kind of like Alex. I was doing a lot of outreach, as well as organizing a weekly volunteer event called Tree Care Tuesday, getting students and children out to learn more about the environment and how to take care of the little we have in New York City. I was looking for an internship that would help me learn to have more leadership skills, have more autonomy, and also meet people in the domain of sustainability, which is really important for after McGill. So it was nice putting my studies to practice and getting a glimpse of the professional life. So internships are really good opportunities to travel, meet like-minded people, and get a better understanding of what you want to do later in life, or maybe even what you don't want to do. So it's a good investment in your time. When looking for an internship, the best advice I can give is to narrow down your research to a specific place and a domain so that you can get a better idea of where you could go. Also, don't hesitate to talk to your families and to your friends because they might have met someone who can help you find an internship. So always alter your CV to emphasize interest or past experience that is more relevant to that company, and finally show ambition and flexibility when contacting them, and you will find something. So I'd like to thank the Arts Internship Office as well as the Faculty of Arts, and most importantly, my award donor, Mr. Lev Bugman, for supporting my internship, whom without it wouldn't have been the same experience. Thank you. And last but not least, Louis.
So good afternoon, everyone. To begin, I would like to thank the Arts Internship Office for helping me prepare for my internship, especially doing the visa and all the paperwork, because I was interning in Asia and it was pretty hard to get the visa. I would also like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Daniels for the arts award they gave me. This was truly an honor for me to get the award, and the money I got sponsored with enabled me to pay my plane tickets, which were pretty expensive. I truly know that without the help of the Arts Internship Office and of Mr. and Mrs. Daniels, the internship I did, I would not have enjoyed it as much as I did. So my name is Louis. I'm a third-year economics student. I was born in France, but I grew up in Singapore. After experiencing my first winter of my life in Canada, I was dying to go back home and experience a new life in Singapore, the one of a true working professional. After contacting throughout my second year of university, different organizations from different domains, I finally got a positive answer from the French bank Crédit Industriel et Commercial, commonly known as the CIC. So this bank is today the fourth biggest bank in France and is present across the world. In Singapore, the branch in Singapore specializes in the trading of currencies, derivative, but also private banking, especially with companies from Asia, so like HSBC, Bank of China, Bank of India, etc. My internship goals were to develop my financial knowledge, because since I'm an economics student, I'm not a finance expert yet. Also to improve my skills in Excel, and of course to discover this new world of banking that I didn't really know. As an intern, my main duties were to report, I was working with traders in the dealing room. I had to report on a daily basis different reports about the trends of the market, of the Asian market. I was also working with tools that I didn't know, like Bloomberg terminals, Reuters terminals. Being able to use those tools actually became a new objective because they're really hard to use. They're really complex. I used another program called Condor Plus. With this program, I was on a weekly basis controlling the actions and the trades of the traders just to make sure they were recorded in the system so that we didn't have any unexpected losses at the end of the month. All this sounds really beautiful, but I really had difficulties at the beginning of the internship, especially using the tools that I didn't know how to use, like Bloomberg and Reuters. But my teammates were great professionals. They helped me through the difficulties and were really patient, so I really appreciate that. As a matter of fact, after the first month, everything was going smoothly and all the reports were done on time. They even had my teammates even had free time to give me extra tasks between my reports, such as preparing PowerPoint, building some charts, and occasionally going to the bakery to get breakfast for the team. The internship was such a great experience. It gave me the opportunity to see Singapore under a new perspective, because as a kid I've never really been into the business district in Singapore, so that was fun. But also to see a new kind of life routine, the one of a banker that is constantly ruled by strict and precise deadlines. Also, it gave me the opportunity to know me better, my weaknesses and my skills. On the last note, I would like to address my fellow students and future interns. I encourage you guys to try to get one of those internships. It's not impossible. The fact of working long days under certain pressure and stress actually makes you realize how sacred a weekend can be, and us students, we tend to forget about that, so yeah.
And again, thank you very much for the Arts Internship Office and Mr. and Mrs. Daniel.
Thank you so much, Bea. As this part of the event comes to a close, we want to thank the Faculty of Arts, Dean Manfredi, for their continued support of our program. We would like to thank our donors who year after year help support students in their internship endeavors, as well as the Arts Undergraduate Society for their invaluable collaboration. We would also like to thank our host organizations for welcoming and supervising our interns every summer. I would like to thank our student staff, without whom this event would not be possible. And finally, we want to take the time to thank our student speakers and all the 2014 Arts interns. Please give them all a warm round of applause. So these were last year's summer interns. Now it's up to the next wave of interns for 2014 and 15, all of you. Please take the time to follow us and stay connected with our office. And we'll give you some internship opportunities and news throughout the year. Now we move on to the second half of our event, the Internship Fair. You'll find all of our office's internship opportunities grouped by region along the walls across the hall. And the fair is your opportunity to speak directly to interns that just spoke or that have just come back from their experience. And trust me, there is no better advice than that. So please enjoy the reception and thank you all for coming.